wedding was great. It really was. Not talking about that today. My most glorious days, other than my wedding to my wonderful husband, was with my grandmother. She was always more like a mother to me, and just any time spent with her was just glorious. Now, I have to tell you about my grandmother. She's not your typical grandmother. She's not the bake cookies and call you honey or sweetie bear or sugar pie. Her nickname for me was Jackass. And if she was calling me a jackass, I knew that I was not in trouble. If you were in trouble, you were shitless. That's when you're in trouble. And and for all the boys, all my boy cousins, she would if you got a good haircut, she'd slap you in the back of the head. If it wasn't good, she wouldn't slap you. So that's how my grandmother rolls. So I would say one of my most glorious days was my last day with her before she passed away 3 years ago. My grandmother has always had a strong voice. I was really lucky to have her till she was 93. And it was that day she was in a lot of pain, and I have arthritis, so we talk about our pain together. Whenever we're on the phone, we'll be like, so how's it going? How's the knee? I'm like, oh, it's good today. It's the ankle that's bothering me. So we'd have those kind of conversations, and we were sitting in her house on the back porch, and I was like, so how's the pain going? Did they try to give you anything for the pain? And she's like, well, Dorina, this doctor, I think he's a cuckoo. He tried to give me, them, what do they call them these days? Those funny cigarettes. He tried to get me to smoke them funny cigarettes. And I was like, no. I'm not taking those things. Are you crazy? I'm going to be running around the streets, crazy, cuckoo, calling everybody outside of their name. I don't think so. So I was like, but aren't you in pain? Don't you want to try? And she's like, Papagoya, just hush now, You just talk too much. And Papagoya is parrot, because I talk too much. And so she was just laughing, and we were having a ball. She held the milk jug on my head, called me jackass a couple of times. She told me, you gotta watch out for that sister of yours and that mother of yours. Your mother used to smoke them funny cigarettes. She thinks I don't know, but I know what she was doing in that backyard. I'm telling you. So she used to always say that. That was her phrase. And she just had so much life, and she would just call you out on anything that you did. If I was when I was dating my husband, she was like, well, Dorina, I'm not stupid. I know you're out there having some sex, so make sure you're using condoms. And I'm like, Ma, I don't want to talk about it. She's like, just be safe. And always remember, when you go to the bars, you watch your drinks, and don't take no cigarettes from nobody. And I'm like, all right, Ma, I will. And then, when I was married to my husband, she gave him a nickname because her memory was kind of so. She was like, I'll call him Mike the Knight. That Mike the Knight. That's how I'll remember his name. And she was just so funny. She would just make big meals. That was her thing. We were always cooking together. And anytime I cook, I can feel her with me. We have this traditional Portuguese dish called manchoup, and we just put all these different meats and everything in it and just stir up a big old pot. And so that day I was cooking for her, and she was like, now make sure you don't burn it, and you have to stir it for the whole time. Don't you take your eyes off that pot, Dorina. Are you sure you know what you're doing? And I'm like, Ma, I got this. This is my third time. She's like, Dorina, do you know how many times I've made manchoup? Are you sure you know what you're doing? I'm like, Ma, I got this. So I cooked it for her. She went into the other room, and I'm cooking it, and she's like, I'm not gonna eat. And I was like, yeah, she probably thinks my food is crap. So she went to the other room, and then she comes back in, and she's like, Dorina, what's that? Is that your food that I smell? And I was like, yeah, that's my food. And she's like, did you save some for me? And I was like, no, it's gone. You said you don't want it. He's like, Dorina. I'm telling you, these kids. And she just had these really great stories. She used to work in the cafeterias, and she would make homemade mashed potatoes, even though they told her to make mashed potatoes with powder. And she just loved cooking for people. And one day she went up and gave her food to one of the people, and they were like, oh, I don't want this, because she didn't really work in the front at the time. And they were like, I don't want it anymore. And she's like, what? Why don't you want my food? You scared my skin's gonna dirty you up? here you go. And she rubbed and rubbed, and it's like, oh, it's gonna come off. Let me give you some more. I got this good skin, comes right up. You'll be my color by tomorrow, don't worry. So she just never let anybody put her down, or just like, she didn't take anyone's crap all the way to the end. So that was my glorious days, spending time with her, learning from her, learning how to cook, learning how to become a woman, be strong for myself, and always being able to look out for myself. Thank you.